Darwino is a completely pluggable application architecture. This allows Darwino applications to grow with your organization and its changing environment. As organizations continue to strengthen their security infrastructures, applications that previously may have utilized simple Ldap-based form authentication may need to evolve, perhaps into using OAuth services provided by a central authentication provider. Darwino makes these transitions seamless through the use of the Darwino Application filter. When using the Darwino Authentication filter, authentication for the application is abstracted and changes to authentication providers is seamless. Let's demonstrate. We begin with an application that is configured to use simple form-based Ldap authentication. As you see, when we log into this application, we use the AMAS credential and are logged in using the default Darwino login form. After login, you see that the identity displayed here in the top left corner is ALMAS of the Trilog Group organization. Now we will demonstrate how simple it is to redirect the authentication authority to IBM Connections, Microsoft Azure Active Directory, or really any OAuth compliant source without having to change one line of code in a Darwino application. Because the application is completely pluggable, we simply need to change a configuration file, the Darwino beans.xml, to use a user directory bean that points to IBM Connections. You see here that we simply uncomment out the bean for IBM Connections. Note also that using an alias allows us to configure a different authentication authority for each Darwino application on the server individually. Now that we've configured Darwino to point to IBM Connections, we simply restart the server, clear our browser cache, and reload the application. As you see, the IBM Connections login page now appears, as Darwino has transferred authentication authority to IBM Connections. Now when we log in, you see that the credential in the application is Phil Riand, and the number below the name is his IBM Connections user ID. Finally, we will demonstrate Darwino utilizing Microsoft Azure Active Directory as the authentication authority. Again, we simply go to the Darwino beans XML file, and we change the user directory bean to point at Azure rather than IBM Connections. Now, after restarting and clearing the cache, when we reload the application, the Microsoft Azure login page appears. After login, you see that this is a different Philippe Riand account, as the Azure ID is different from the IBM Connections ID. Darwino makes authentication pluggable for all of your applications, allowing your apps to grow and change as your enterprise architecture evolves. Please visit our website at www.darwino.com to find out more.